Hi, my name is Joe Netter, and welcome to my very, very messy office. Risk management. Risk management in the volunteer fire service. That's what this video is all about, and that's what my presentation at the FDIC 2019 will be all about. What does risk mean to you? What does it mean to us as volunteers? If we go back to my experiences, if you will, I was an active volunteer for over 37 years. If you ask me about risk and risk management, the answer you mostly would have got from me, and I'm sure for many other volunteers, was, risk, I'm all set, I'm well trained, I know what I'm doing, don't worry about it. Well, as I started to dig more and more into this subject, I realized how very little I and many of us volunteers really know and understand about risk. I think the reason that we find this subject difficult is because when we try to do some reading on it, look at standards, read articles, we find ourselves in a sea of complexity and intellectualism. Let me give you some examples. A definition of risk is a measure of the probability and severity of adverse effects that result from an exposure to hazard. Risk control is the management of risk through stopping losses via exposure avoidance, prevention of loss, addressing frequency, reduction of loss, addressing severity, segregation of exposures, and contractual transfer techniques. Definition of risk control. I don't know about you, but when I read that, I get confused because I find myself in that sea of intellectualism and complexity there. And frankly, I've never been on a fire ground with an incident commander talk to me about a contractual transfer technique. Go figure. I've come up with a new definition for risk, okay, in risk management, and that is the act of trying to control things that can cause us injury or death. Straightforward, pretty simple. I think we all can understand that. In this class, we'll talk about risk. I'm going to offer you a 4-step process to evaluate risk on every one of your emergency scenes. Those steps will be: first, to develop situational awareness; secondly, to identify the risk and the dangers that are before us; thirdly, to determine how we can control or eliminate those risks and dangers; and fourthly, to look at this as an ongoing process. We go back to the beginning. We constantly maintain that situational awareness, and we are constantly evaluating the risk and determining how to control or eliminate them. In addition, in this class, we'll talk about things that we as individuals can do. We're going to address some tough subjects, but we're going to talk about what you can do as an individual immediately upon leaving that conference room to reduce and eliminate risk to you, to other members of your department, and to your family. Finally, we're going to talk about risk management in a very different context. People, when you read about it, people will read about all these 4-step, 5-step, 6-step risk management processes. We learn about managing risk is risk a lot to save a lot, risk a little to save a little, etc., etc. But we're going to talk about other things that you can do within your own fire department to dramatically decrease risk. We're also going to talk about our health and why we need to be paying more attention to that, and for some cancer preventive actions that we can all take immediately. If you want to see my style, please go to the YouTube video channel and look up Joe Netter FDIC 2018. I presented this at the 2018 conference, and it was very, very well received. For 2019, we're going to be adding some new things, and I'm sure it will be just as exciting. I thank you very much for tuning in, and I truly hope that you take the risk and attend my presentation. You won't regret it. Thank you.